One of the main differences between One's two most popular series, One Punch Man and Mob Psycho 100, I believe, is that unlike Saitama, Mob is no superhero and is not trying to become one. Mob isn't the type of person that will go out of his way and go save a faraway city from danger. Saitama, on the other hand, would. The only reason Mob has gotten involved with Claw is because in Season 1, they mistakenly took Ritsu for Mob and kidnapped Ritsu, and here, he was led to believe that his family was either killed or kidnapped. Also, this world domination plan is taking place in Seasoning City, putting not only Mob in danger, but also the people he cares the most about. These mobless episodes are some of my favorite as it gives other characters some time to shine and added development. And I think that's what this episode's purpose was. It purposely took Mob out of the picture barring the final minutes to show us why Mob would be fighting and who Mob would be fighting to protect. Because regardless if they're standing up for Mob or paying very little attention to the surroundings and freaking out over pulling a super ultra rare, these are people that are important to Mob and have helped him grow as a person. For example, and to my surprise, we got some additional development on Dimple's character after getting a lot of it in the events that have taken place during the past couple of episodes. We know that Dimple cares for Mob, but we didn't know that Dimple's care for Mob was large enough for Dimple to care for the people Mob cares about. And it doesn't even have to be that Dimple cares for people like Musashi, the rest of the Body Improvement Club, or Tsubomi. It's just the fact that Dimple acknowledges that these people are important to a person who's important to him, so he'll do the best he can to make sure they don't get hurt, even though nobody would blame Dimple for not doing so. That's so amazing. Dimple also has this curious piece of dialogue that I'm not sure has any real truth behind it or not, but I thought it was pretty sweet. Dimple essentially says that muscles that are trained carefully on a daily basis will always overpower muscles that are being enhanced through psychic abilities. I thought that was an amazing piece of dialogue because it's often that we see Mob get told to use his powers to solve his problems. Onigawara and a few others encouraged Mob a while ago to use his powers in order to take care of bullies, and a couple of episodes ago, Mezato also told Mob to use his psychic abilities to help him get into the top 10 of the school marathon. Truth is, it's unlikely somebody praises Mob for doing things the hard way when a much simpler route is to his disposal. So, coming from an arc where Regan refused to acknowledge the fact that Mob wouldn't be able to obtain friends that didn't take advantage of him, essentially denying Mob's growth, seeing somebody, especially Dimple, validate the way Mob has chosen to go about things was really nice to see. And the fact that Mob chooses to not use his powers to help him during his body improvement routines plays a huge part in Musashi stepping up for Mob when he did. Musashi is willing to put his life on the line for Mob because he admires Mob's tenacity and acknowledges his growth. You see, Mob may not have a ton of physical strength, but it takes a lot of mental strength to stick with something as much as Mob has stuck with the Body Improvement Club. That mental fortitude is probably the strength his captain, no matter how buff Mob gets in the future, will admire the most about him. Though this desire to fulfill your dreams or achieve your goals that Mob has goes both ways, not only to our characters that are trying to stop the destruction of Seasoning City, but also to the ones causing it. If there's one thing we learned about Sho and his father Toichiro, it's that they're rather determined people who have a strong belief in themselves. And while their relationship is still a bit rocky, we also gained more of an understanding between the relationship of Toichiro and Serizawa. It became very apparent to me this episode that Serizawa really doesn't understand what he got himself into. I assume Serizawa is blindly following Toichiro, as Toichiro probably gave him a way to get back into society. So there's a giant disconnect between them as to what they're expecting of each other. Toichiro is expecting Serizawa to continue following him, so he'll continue using Serizawa as much as he can to achieve his goal. Meanwhile, Serizawa thinks he's getting training or some insight that will one day help him become a corporate executive. Just like Serizawa feels like a version of Mob that didn't go through all the development Mob has gone through throughout this series, Toichiro feels like a version of Regan that hasn't learned much about the world through his mistakes and shortcomings like Regan has. And this is mainly because Toichiro probably hasn't really made any mistakes or has had to suffer any shortcomings. Toichiro's actually followed a really lenient, successful life, possibly with the aid of psychic powers, to the point where he has nothing else to strive for but world domination. But hey, will Regan speak some sense into Toichiro just like he did the 7th division? Will Mob help Serizawa realize that he's just being used? If you're an anime only, let me know any of the thoughts you had throughout the episode and any predictions you may have on some of the fights we may be seeing next episode. Also, did any characters surprise you, and if so, which ones? If you're a manga reader, let me know how you felt Bones adapted this episode, and most importantly, start a discussion. Let me know if you agree or disagree with my analysis on the episode and the characters. Feel free to follow me on Twitter, to subscribe to my YouTube channel, and to hit that bell. That way you don't miss a video and can continue watching Mob Psycho 100 and many other series with me. And with that being said, I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you all soon. Bye bye.